Against the Heavens, a game life that doesn't want to be contrained. Chapter 1, An Unexpected Landing. Li Yangxing was originally a high-end player of the virtual game Phantom Century, whether it was PK or Dungeon Challenge, his name has almost become synonymous with the game. As the vice president of the guild, Li Yangxing is busy fighting monsters and upgrading every day, and he never doubts his strength and status. However, a sudden turn of events completely turned his world upside down. It was one night when Li Yangxing was about to log into the game when a sudden lightning bolt hit the computer at his home. He felt only darkness before his eyes, and then he fell into endless darkness. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself standing in a strange world. This world is not a virtual game he once played, but a different world that is too real to be believed. It was surrounded by a wide field, with a few birds crossing the sky, and a few strange plants and creatures shuttling through the grass. Li Yangxing rubbed his eyes and looked at everything around him in disbelief, and then he hurriedly took out his mobile phone to try to contact the real world, only to find that the phone could not be turned on at all. Just as he was confused, a soft female voice came, "Oops, finally woke up." Li Yangxing turned his head, and a woman wearing a lilac robe with a beautiful face appeared in front of him. There was a hint of excitement in her eyes, but there seemed to be a slight helplessness. "You? Who are you?" Li Yangxing's voice trembled a little, his heart was full of fear, and he couldn't understand everything that was happening in front of him at all. The woman smiled slightly, "My name is Yujinch, and I am one of the guardians of this world. As for you..." Her gaze suddenly became serious, "You're my pet now." Li Yangxing was stunned and couldn't accept this fact. He shook his head fiercely, "No, I'm not going to be anyone's pet." However, Yujinch just smiled lightly, "Since you have entered this world, you can't go back. And, as my pet, you have a myriad of perks. Rest assured, I will take good care of you." Li Yangxing's head buzzed, and the whole person was stunned. He even wondered if it was a dream, but no matter how much he pinched himself, he couldn't wake up from this strange world. Chapter 2, The Life of Pets. Li Yangxing soon discovers that it was not a prank that he became Yujinch's pet, but due to an unknown force, he could not escape this fate no matter what. He is now in a virtual world of otherworldly players and creatures, filled with magic, swordsmanship, and supernatural powers. As Yujinch's pet, Li Yangxing's identity is no longer the high-level player in the original game, but one of her companions. Every day, he was brought by Yujinch as a toy, and there was hardly any freedom in life. His mission is to follow her orders and be on call at all times. Yujinch's personality is not bad but gentle and elegant, and often prepares food for Li Yangxing and talks to him. However, the anger and unwillingness in Li Yangxing's heart never stopped. This strange world and his own fate that he no longer controls left him with endless resentment in his heart. One day, Li Yangxing tried to secretly leave her residence, trying to find a way out of this world. However, as soon as he took a few steps, he was easily captured by Yujinch. She looked at him with a smile, "Don't worry, I just don't want you to have too hard a hard time, it's much safer here than in that game world full of competition and challenges. I don't want to stay here. I don't want to be your pet." Li Yangxing retorted loudly. Yujinch smiled lightly, and the corners of her mouth rose slightly, "If you don't want to stay here, then you have to find a way. After all, this world is not something you can come and go when you want." Li Yangxing was helpless, and his heart was full of powerlessness. At this moment, it occurred to him that since he could not leave, he might be able to treat all this as a new adventure, maybe find his way home, and even gain more power. Chapter 3, Bound by a Master Who is Cowardly and Rebellious. Although Li Yangxing's heart was full of longing for freedom, he soon discovered that Yujinch beside him was not an ordinary existence. Her power is beyond imagination, and almost no one can match it. Whenever Li Yangxing tried to resist, she could always stop him easily, and even suppress him without much effort. Once, Yujinch took Li Yangxing to a vast enchanted forest to prepare for a daily game. She commanded a huge demonic beast to fight against Li Yangxing. Li Yangxing was still a little resistant at first, but as the battle progressed, he gradually found himself completely unable to fight back. Whenever he exerted all his strength, Yujinch would always defuse his attacks in an understated way, and even easily subdue him. "Why don't you give it your all?" Yujinch raised her eyebrows slightly, and there was a hint of playfulness in her eyes. Li Yangxing gritted his teeth, "This is... Won't you let me win?" Yujinch smiled slightly, "It's not that you won't win, but your current strength is not strong enough. When you can actually fight me, you can truly be my companion, not a pet." Li Yangxing felt helpless again. He began to understand that Yujinch didn't actually intend to bind him, but rather to give him a chance to grow, and this kind of pun dialogue made him even more confused. Chapter 4, Reversal of Fortune. As the days passed, Li Yangxing gradually adapted to this kind of life centered on Yujinch. He began to embrace this new identity, and he understood that the term pet was not exactly a derogatory symbol, but rather something wonderful. Yujinch is not a simple master, She is also a powerful magician with unimaginable abilities. To Li Yangxing, she is both a teacher and a friend. In such a life, Li Yangxing realized that he could actually learn a lot from Yujinch. Not only did he learn magic and swordsmanship, but he also gradually understood the rules of this world. The time spent with Moonjinch has given him a whole new perspective on his former gaming life. It was just an endless competition, and now, he has real strength and wisdom. Finally, in a large-scale adventure mission, Li Yangxing found that he already had the strength to challenge Yujinch. At that moment, he was no longer the pet who was in bondage, but a strong man with his own destiny. Yujinch, I'm ready. Li Yangxing stood in front of her, a flame of determination burning in his eyes. Yujinch smiled slightly, then, let's start. Perhaps, this time, you can truly be my partner. Chapter 5, The Choice of the Brave. As time passed, Li Yangxing and Yujinch's adventures became more intense, and the challenges they faced became more complex. They went from the initial Warcraft, magic research, to gradually intervening in the deep conspiracies in this world. The structure of this world and the forces behind it made Li Yangxing's mood even heavier. One night, Yujinch and Li Yangxing sat under the starry sky together, quiet all around, only a breeze gently brushing their cheeks. Such a night is one of the few moments when they can let go of the burden in their hearts and spend time with each other quietly. What do you think is the real secret of this world? Li Yangxing finally broke the silence. He looked at the starry sky, and there was a trace of confusion in his eyes. Yujinch looked at him, smiled slightly, and said softly, the secrets of this world are not just magic, martial arts, or power, but those truths hidden deep in the world. She paused, as if pondering how to answer, but remember, knowing these secrets doesn't mean you can change anything. Some things are destined to be part of fate. Li Yangxing's brows furrowed slightly, so, everything we have experienced is destined. Yujinch shook her head slightly, fate is not unchangeable, but it always guides us invisibly. The real question is whether you are in control of the path you choose. These words made Li Yangxing feel an inexplicable doubt and uneasiness in his heart. The ideals he had always adhered to, freedom and control over one's destiny, seemed to be bound by some invisible shackles in Yujinch's words. Chapter 6, The Origins of the Conspiracy. As they delved deeper, Li Yangxing and Yujinch gradually discovered that the anomalies in this world seemed to be beyond the simple magic and adventure. The truth that Yujinch had concealed gradually surfaced. It turned out that the other world she was in was not a completely natural existence, it was a virtual space created by a powerful and mysterious force. Li Yangxing was shocked to discover that the core of this world, the Tree of Heaven, was actually created by a group of ancient beings whose purpose was to change a huge mystery about fate. The Tree of Heaven is a tree that stores all fate, and the fate of countless worlds and countless lives depends on it. And these ancient beings have the ability to control the direction of fate and decide the fate of all living things. Not only that, the world of Li Yangxing and Yujinch is just a copy of it, a place of trial that has been created in order to test the variables of fate. That is, our world, from the beginning, was not the real world. Li Yangxing asked in a low voice. Yujinch's eyes dimmed, yes. Everything here, including you and me, is just a pawn in the hands of some powerful being. Li Yangxing's mood became heavier, and his longing for freedom now seemed to be an illusion. And whether the real freedom is really as Yujinch said, not everyone can have. Chapter 7, The Road of Rebellion. However, all this did not make Li Yangxing give up. He knew that if fate was truly controlled as they had discovered, he would not be willing to become a pawn of some ancient power forever. Even if the world was virtual from the beginning, he was unwilling to succumb to such a fate. He begins to find the secrets of these ancient existences, and uses the wisdom and power he has accumulated in the game world to try to break the shackles of fate. He realizes that he is not just Yujinch's pet, he has more power and is able to influence the future of this world. After discovering Li Yangxing's determination, Yujinch did not stop him, but began to explore these unknown areas with him. She knew that Li Yangxing's choice might be the change that the world really needed. They began to travel between countless dimensions, searching for the shattered tree of nature, trying to uncover the clues left behind by these ancient beings. Every adventure has made Li Yangxing more determined, his strength is increasing, and his understanding of the world is also more profound. In the process of in-depth exploration, Li Yangxing and Yujinch finally found the secret hidden in the depths of the heavenly tree. The creators of this world turned out to be a group of beings with mysterious powers, who could not only create countless virtual worlds, but also control the fate of countless lives in them. The purpose of these beings is to find a chooser, that is, an existence that can break through the shackles of fate and unlock the seal of the whole world. However, behind all this, there is also another even more terrible conspiracy hidden. These beings do not want humans to really control their own destiny, on the contrary, they want to use the power of the choosers to push the world into an unknown abyss again. Chapter 8, The Battle of Fate. Li Yangxing finally realized that he was not just going on a game-like adventure, but challenging a choice that was related to life and death, and the fate of the whole world. He will face not only his own fate, but also the survival of the entire other world. Yujinch looked at Li Yangxing, a trace of reluctance and understanding flashed in her eyes. Are you ready? This road, there is no turning back. Li Yangxing took a deep breath, his eyes were like torches. I won't run away anymore, no matter what, I will choose the fate I control. Eventually, Li Yangxing and Yujinch entered the deepest part of the heavenly tree, where they encountered beings known as creators. Their strength seemed to be endless, and in the face of such a powerful force, Li Yangxing felt unprecedentedly small. However, at this moment, he did not back down. He unleashed all his powers, defied fate, and launched the final counterattack against the creator. An earth-shattering battle began, the heavens and the earth shook, and the wind and clouds changed. Li Yangxing and Yujinch joined hands to fight against the creator, breaking the shackles of fate that could not be changed, and in the end, they changed the ending of this world in their own way. End of story. In the end, the efforts of Li Yangxing and Yujinch finally broke through the shackles of fate, and the rules of this world changed drastically. Li Yangxing is no longer a pet, he has become the master of his own destiny, and he has created a new era with Yujinch. Under that starry sky, Li Yangxing knows that no matter how the world changes, true freedom comes from the courage to constantly pursue and challenge. This is a journey about fate, about choice, about adventure and growth. It is no longer the world of games, but the future of his own creation.